a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit it. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is a lively Monday here in the Country Financial Studio because I still don't think we've come down from this weekend. What a game it was in Happy Valley where Oregon went on the road and took down Penn State during a whiteout. This was a game in which Oregon looked dominant up front for pretty much the entirety of the game, but there was a lot of adversity in this game in a few different moments. Oregon weathered the storm, came out victorious in what ended up being a slugfest in a double overtime bout in a 30-24 victory over Penn State. It was a top 6 game. Oregon was ranked at number 6 in the country coming into the contest. Oregon now in the new AP poll is up to number 2 in the country, and I think that's a little bit more indicative of where Oregon's ranking should have been coming into the week and should be now. I think there's even an argument, and I would make the case, that Oregon has the best win now on the season across the entirety of college football. On the road at Penn State in that environment, no other team in the country has come anything close to what Oregon had to go up against last week against the Nittany Lions this weekend and come out victorious and look as good as Oregon did. The Ducks really dominated this game in a whole bunch of different facets, first of which was in total yardage. Oregon had 424 total yards. Penn State had 276. Ducks almost doubled up the Nittany Lions just in terms of total yardage. Passing yards, Oregon won 248 to 137. In a battle between two esteemed quarterbacks, Dante Moore looked like the best quarterback not only on the field but maybe in the country over the weekend on Saturday. He was efficient, 29 for 39, 248 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns. We'll hear from him coming up later in the show, but he also did it on the ground as well. Had 10 rushes for 35 yards, and in the biggest moment, Dante Moore came through in the biggest ways. Oregon had so many different high-leverage plays, specifically offensively, in this matchup. Oregon seemed to execute every single time one of those high-leverage plays came about because I think as we speak, Dan Lanning has still decided that he's going for it on 4th down. I think they just called a 4th down play call on the plane on the way home. 5 for 7 on 4th downs were Dan Lanning and the Oregon offense as the Ducks clearly coming into this game decided that Oregon was going to be aggressive, especially when they had opportune down and distance scenarios. Watching the NBC broadcast, I was flipping back and forth as the Oregon Sports Network had its beta test of a TV sync. So I was flipping back and forth between that beta test as well as the NBC broadcast. And at one point, the NBC broadcast transposed Dan Lanning's name with Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. Well, and I think that the two most aggressive coaches in the sport at both levels are Dans that go for it on 4th downs, because the similarities between the way that last week's Detroit Lions on a Monday night decided that they were going to take the game into their hands and win on 4th downs and be aggressive offensively felt very similar to the way that Oregon and Coach Dan Lanning decided to take the game into their hands on the road at Penn State over the weekend. It was a game that was a thriller, one that Oregon won in the trenches against especially the offensive line against a very stout defensive line that's full of a lot of Sunday players on the Penn State defensive front. I thought this was one of the better offensive line showcases that Oregon has had in a while, and the Ducks have had plenty of great games with excellent offensive line showcases. This was a game that got me fired up in so many different ways because it felt like Oregon had the win, and it was dominant for the majority of the game. But then in the fourth quarter, Penn State had the counterpunch. They had the answer. But as Coach Lanning will tell you, this was a game of 1,000 cuts. And when Oregon continued to apply pressure in the overtime period after Penn State scored, after they took the lead for the first time in the game in the first overtime, Oregon then answered and responded when Dante Moore was making plays. Then the Ducks had the opportunity to go on the aggressive side, on the aggressive front in the second overtime, scored, ended up not converting on the two-point conversion, but the pressure was on the Nittany Lions to score, and ultimately, backed up against the wall, Penn State, they converted on a few of those back up against the wall opportunities, but they couldn't convert on all of them, as at the end of the game, Dillon Thieneman got the interception on the first play for Penn State offensively in the second overtime. You hear anybody talk about Dillon Thieneman, they'll say he is the most prepared player on this Oregon football team. He works tirelessly. You'll see him after practice if you stick around, and he will be the last guy out on the field, hitting the sled, going through drills, on the Monarch, making sure that he has the sure hands to catch that football. He executed in the biggest way on Saturday in the biggest game thus far of Oregon's season. A big 30-24 victory for Oregon over Penn State and a statement resume win for Oregon. Dan Lanning caught up with Dusty Hara after the game, and it was an ecstatic Coach Lanning. He clearly knew what this game meant, and Oregon and his team came through in a huge way. Here's Coach Lanning on Oregon Sports Network Radio postgame with Dusty.
Coach Lanning, double overtime thriller. Your defense comes up with a huge play at the end. What are your initial thoughts just on how that game played out and that finish?
That's probably one of the best games I've ever been a part of. It's no doubt one of the best games I've ever been a part of, maybe the best one. There's an unbelievable effort on both sides. Came down to the last second, somebody making a play. I don't even know who got the interception. Was it Dillon?
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable job by him. But it was back and forth, man. There were times where offense put the defense on their back. There were times the defense put the offense on their back. Unbelievable effort from our players. Really proud of them, really proud of the performance.
What did you learn about this team coming into a hostile environment and playing the way that they did?
They can handle it, right? They can handle it. We probably got to carry a couple more 4th and 1 calls, though, right? We went through the Rolodex.
Dante Moore, he was calm, cool, and collected all game long. He handled the pressure well. What did you learn about your quarterback?
He was unbelievable, man. The guy was unbelievable. Yeah, I'm super proud of him, man. He handled it. He's hurting. He took some hits, and he just he was never phased, man. He was never phased. It was impressive.
Up front, physicality on both sides of the line of scrimmage. What did you see from your offensive and defensive lines from a physical standpoint?
Yeah, we said we needed to outrush these guys. We did. They found some stuff there at the end of the game that we struggled to stop. But we just need one more snap. And if we have one more snap, we're going to get one more cut, we're going to get a win.
That fourth quarter, your defense was bending a little bit there. What did you tell those guys heading into that overtime?
All that matters is the next play. And our coaches made unbelievable adjustments on the sideline. We did something we hadn't ran all game to get the interception. It was really effective. It was a great job by our coaching staff.
Are we going to have to wait for Ducks versus them to find out why everybody ran to the one end of the field?
It had nothing to do with Ducks versus, I don't know. I mean, we just wanted to celebrate our fans. To see our fans in that top right corner all the way in the nosebleeds. And they came out here to support us. So, I don't know, it was 110,000 or 100,000 versus maybe 10. We're like the Spartans today, man. We went out there and fought.
1-0 again this week, and now it's a bye week or a work week, as you call it.
Yeah, it's going to be a bye week for a second. We got to get healthy, take advantage of a little bit of recovery, and then we'll get right to work.
Long flight home. Go celebrate with that staff and those players. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you so much, Dusty.
That's Coach Lanning talking about the win and the environment that Oregon had to go up against. First off, there was a lot of tremendous content that was put out on this game. There was a picture of an Oregon fan standing in a sea of white with a number 1 jersey on, and that, to me, really told the story. It's the man in the arena. Everybody's against you. What are you going to do about it? Oregon really didn't let the noise and the atmosphere faze them in this game. The Ducks, they had a few penalties, but very few of them were pre-snap penalties. Very few of them were procedural. A lot of them were throughout the course of play. There were a time or two where Oregon hurt themselves with a penalty here or there, but in terms of the environment affecting the Ducks up front, the communication was stout. And, I mentioned the Ducks versus them in there. I can't wait for the Ducks versus them to drop this week. I think it's going to be one of the better ones that have been put out because this game was one of the better ones that we've seen Oregon play in quite a long time. It's certainly up there as some of the best wins that Coach Lanning has had in his tenure as a Duck. And he continued to talk about this game and how Oregon was able to execute in the environment when it mattered most against a quality team. The Ducks came out with the win. Coach Lanning brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home with the general media postgame after Oregon's victory over Penn State.
Well, that was, I think that's the best game I've ever been a part of. And regardless of who won that game, just unbelievable back and forth. I mean, Penn State is a damn good football team. They figured out some stuff there against us at the end. I mean, every series mattered. I think we scored 2 touchdowns in the second half. They scored 3. Just unbelievable back and forth. Actually, I guess we had 4 touchdowns second half. You start counting overtime, right? Overtime was a different animal, but these guys, they fought. And we just talked all week. It's about getting a cut, right? And it's death by 1,000 cuts. We just had to get another cut. And eventually that cut was going to be a jugular, and that last interception was a jugular. It was as proud as I've been of our team playing well on both sides of the ball. The score maybe didn't indicate that in the first half with our offense, but defense played really well in the first. Second half, offense really picked it up. Defense had some good back and forth, and just an unbelievable effort by our players, unbelievable effort by our coaches. I thought our coaches had a great game plan going into this game against a really tough team. I thought our players handled the crowd, and the crowd didn't make a single play, right? Our players made plays today, and that showed up in this game.
Dan, heard on post-game radio, you said you ran something defensively on the interception there at the end that you hadn't done all game. When you walked us through.
We're just really struggling with the speed motion sweep series, and we felt like they were going to run what we call score route off of that. So we wanted to have a good answer for the speed sweep and a good answer for the score route if we got it. They ended up throwing the score route, and we intercepted it. So, like I said, unbelievable job by our defensive coaches game planning that. They came out in 12 personnel, and we went nickel, which we hadn't really done all game. And our guys executed really, really well.
What can you say about Dante Moore and the composure that he kept throughout the game with the overtime?
I think we got the best quarterback in college football, right? I mean, anybody watches that game, I don't know. Maybe I don't see everybody else, but that guy's composure, his poise. I mean, even the big play at the end there on the first overtime. We're about to throw a screen in the boundary. He has the wherewithal to not throw it in the boundary, turn around and get it thrown back to the field, and get a 4th and 1. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me. I thought that was going to be targeting. Looked like it from the field, but we ended up, converting to 4th and 1. That's just like one example in that game of the poise that he had, the command he had of our offense. Remember, I came up and talked to him about hey, if we go to 4th down here, here's what I'm thinking. He's like, Coach, let's just get the 3rd down. And he did it, So it just tells you a little bit about that guy we got playing for us.
And just massive plays for your freshman, playing in front of 100,000 people probably for the first time for most of them. What did you make of their composure in particular, being 18, 19-year-olds?
Yeah, I think that's 2 years in a row we played in front of the biggest crowd in Oregon history, and that speaks volumes about how these guys can handle the stage. We said the whiteout was really going to be a white canvas for us today, and we get an opportunity to paint our masterpiece, and those guys did it. Did an unbelievable job of just going out there and executing every play and playing the next play. I thought we had really good composure throughout the game. There was a couple times we hurt ourselves. Penalty, obviously there, late. From Harkey, something we got to be able to control. Didn't see it on the field, but obviously it happened. But overall, our players played, their asses off, whistle to whistle, and that showed up.
You talked so much about your ability to go for a 4th down. How do you build the confidence, not only through this week, through this season, but just through your tenure at Oregon, to understand that when you go out here, you can be so successful on 4th down?
We were really clear before the game, regardless of the result, like all of our goals are in front of us, regardless of what happens. We're coming here to win the game. We're coming here to be aggressive. I thought our offensive staff did an unbelievable job game plan. We had a false start on the first 4th down. Otherwise, we would have converted that one. We had a great play call. But we went through the Rolodex today, and what did we convert? I mean, we had 5 of 7, fourth down. So every one of those fourth downs mattered. And yeah, 2 of those we didn't get, but we were going to be aggressive in this game. They were 3 for 3 on fourth down. So those extra 2 for us mattered in a big way in this game. And our coaches, I thought, did a great, we didn't just go to our normal bag, right? We stepped outside of the box and went to some stuff we hadn't ran this season, and it ended up being winners for us.
During that 2 minutes or so when they're reviewing Noah's fumble, not fumble, what's going through your mind? What are you doing on the sidelines? And just talk about the way that the team was able to counter that and come right back out.
Yeah, hey, regardless of what happens, we're on defense, fellas. Here's what we're thinking. Here's our next play. We were focused on the next play the entire time. Those guys handled that moment well. They were so locked in and focused. It's hard to be focused for a 60-minute or an overtime game, right? They were focused for more than 60 minutes today, and we needed every one of them. We needed every play, every amount of focus from our team, and that was a challenging game. No, I wasn't saying that. I was saying that's another cut. This game was about 1,000 cuts. We're getting another cut. That's another cut. That's another cut. We're going to stack as many cuts as we can possibly get, right? And the game ain't over until it's over, right? But that was about us stacking cuts. Our players knew we were going to get as many cuts in as we can. Death by 1,000 cuts. That was the mindset.
Dan, for the people who were here tonight that didn't get to experience this environment, the ups and downs, roller coaster, how do you think you can describe what it feels like to be a loser right now?
I'm just really proud for our players that they got to experience that. They worked really hard. There's a ton of emotion in a game like that. Like, you put your all. You work incredible hours. Our players work so hard. So for them to be able to celebrate a moment like that, it would have been devastating to be on the other end of that. And I feel for that team in the other locker room because they busted their ass too. You talk about a good football team that we're probably going to see again, right? We'll probably see that team again. But our guys work so hard. For them to be able to walk out of this with a W is really big.
Dan, going in, did you plan on Dante kind of plus one in the run game a little bit more? Did he surprise you and kind of taking moments there?
No, we felt like this is a game we needed to win, and we were gonna run our quarterback at times, and he took some hits, man. And that guy is tough, man, tough as nails. But we felt like, hey, at times we're gonna have to play 11 on 11, or you can't play 10 on 11. They're a really good defense. So it's in those critical moments, where do you want the ball? Who do you want to have it in their hands? And he did an unbelievable job.
Man, a truly big picture. Going back to last year, the title game with these guys, off-season long conversation about on defense, and an indictment about you guys win the league, but it becomes about all your flaws. And this whole off-season about all the things that they acquired. They got the best league coordinator. They got the procedures. They got all the answers. When you go out and hold their running game in check, hold their quarterback in check, put up 30 points on the DC. What kind of statement is this about this program when you stuck with your guys above, like young guys and guys in-house at your end?
Yeah, just that we believe in each other, and we had work to do, right? We found some flaws in our game. And there's going to be some flaws tonight that we find. And guess what we'll do? We'll go correct them, right? We got outstanding coaches, players that want to be great, and that's what we got to do. We got to go attack our flaws, figure out what we can improve. This program's about growth. Right, and it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior. It doesn't matter if you're an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or a graduate assistant, or a quality control coach. You got to grow. A head coach got to grow. I got to get better, right? And I learned from this game tonight. We learned from that game in the Rose Bowl. This is going to be an opportunity for us to keep learning, keep getting better.
Going into the game, the run game, their run defense was the big piece. They put up some yards right in the game, but for the most part, you guys held them in check. What was it about that that you guys found so much success with?
I just thought we had a really good plan. The one run, the runs that they had success with became perimeter runs. That's going to be something that we've got to attack and have a great answer for. They're really tough when it comes to formations. I think you see tonight that we were lined up with our hand in the dirt a lot more. That was a mindset coming from the Big Ten championship game. There was too many plays where the ball snapped and we're not in a stance. But we were in a stance tonight, and that paid off.
Dan, what did you see from Penn State when they scored those touchdowns back-to-back?
Yeah, they had some great power read, power sweep plays that we didn't have great answers for. They were hiding their X off the ball at times. They were creating, tackle over formations. So something we got to prepare for, figure out how we can get an extra hat over there. It's what we did on the last play. We got an extra hat, right? Had pressure on the quarterback, and then if they ran that play, I feel like we would have been in good position to stop it as well.
If Dante can come into this environment and deliver in the way that he did, just how do you view this experience in like the bigger picture evolution and education of his?
This is a huge growth moment for our entire team. right? Because, that crowd's probably worth 7 points, right? And they really weren't tonight. Like, I didn't feel that. The only time we beat ourselves is when we beat ourselves, right? The only time that we really struggled is when we beat ourselves. And it was going to be a battle. We had to figure out what worked, but they handled this environment, and it ended up being not a factor for our team, even though it was that's why you play college football. That environment was unbelievable.
I believe there's two young running backs from the start of the season. Coach Sam was calling them the future of the program. He said they're years beyond their time. What does it take for you to give them the ball in crucial situations and for them to perform in an environment like this?
Happy birthday, De'Ara, right? Awesome job, Jordan. Like that running back room is selfless. They love each other. Coach Samples has done an unbelievable job with that group. I'm just glad they all got to be a part of that, and they did a really good job tonight.
That's Coach Lanning after the game. A big win for Oregon football over Penn State. Now headed into a bye week, but as we know it around here, it's a work week as Oregon is getting to work ahead of another, what should be a top 10 battle with both Oregon and Indiana on bye this week. Next game at Autzen Stadium will be a top 10 game between Oregon and Indiana on CBS at 12:30 as announced earlier in the day. Indiana is a formidable team. They're a top 10 team. They're 5-0. They have a win over Illinois back when Illinois was a top 10 team, and they just got a road conference win at Iowa, which is a difficult place to play. It's another test in front of Oregon and an explosive offense that'll be coming in to Autzen Stadium coming up not this Saturday, but next Saturday, October 11th at Autzen on CBS. Big game for the Ducks against Penn State. Big game coming up against Indiana. The quarterback's been really good. We're talking to Dante Moore when we return after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. On YouTube, Rich says the live audio stream was brilliant. I was out of terrestrial radio range, and it was amazing getting Jerry about 15-plus seconds ahead of the YouTube TV stream. Please keep doing this. We are going to continue to try to keep doing it. We're in beta test of a few different streams right now, trying to roll them out to the general public more and more as the season continues to move along. So make sure you continue to listen to the show, and you keep tuned for updates on how you can best get the new streams that are coming out, because ideally by the end of the year we set up the streams in a way that it is very, very user-friendly and intuitive, where maybe you can even sync it up to a TV stream and you can change the audio delay so that it lines up with the game perfectly. That's our goal by the end of the year. So make sure you keep staying tuned and get some updates as we continue to beta test and continue to enhance that service. Also, Dave says on YouTube, do you think Dante Moore is now the Heisman frontrunner after this performance on Saturday night? He'd be my pick. He played one heck of a game at quarterback, and I'm not sure he could have had a better one. Really, outside of the 2-point conversion at the end of the game that was an interception, he didn't put the ball in jeopardy very often at all. He found the open receivers pretty much every time, and he led his team in a hostile environment to execute well with very, very few mistakes. That's the sign of a good leader, a talented quarterback, and a guy that I think should be in New York by the end of the season. His final stat line, 29 for 39, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, 74% completion. It earned Dante Moore the Big Ten Player of the Week award this week, and I think deservedly so. He was the better quarterback in this matchup, completed more than double the passes of Drew Aller in this game, and Dante Moore also rushed for 35 yards on 10 attempts. When he needed it most, he did not get sacked, and when Oregon needed first downs, Dante Moore continued to churn it out. And you heard Coach Lanning say that he got beat up a little bit in this game. It was a physical ball game, but he got back up every time, and as he'll tell you, every single time he got up, he took a deep breath. It was a game of 1,000 cuts, and each time, another cut to Penn State when the quarterback got up off his back. Quarterback Dante Moore, he spoke with the media after the game, after a big win. Here's the quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't have the chance to talk to Bo. He has a lot on his plate, of course, being in the NFL, and that was something I was, wanting to do. But overall, I kind of just talked to, Coach Lanning more than anything. Coach Lanning's been in national championship environments, playing on the road in huge environments in the SEC, and he always told me, there can be 200,000 fans, but they don't, they can't make a block, they can't make a catch, they can't make a play. So it's really just 11-on-11 football at the end of the day. I always give credit to the team. This team is a very physical team. The environment was loud. It's Penn State's whiteout game. It's what it's known for. But overall, it was a great game, and I feel like from right now as a team, we're going to hope, safe travels back home and get ready for this bye week. Make sure we take care of our bodies.
With so many guys in this team, Bryce suggested that this have never played in an environment like this, a game like this, including you. How are you guys able to overcome the emotion and overcome them coming back 17-3 down and close the game?
You have Jordans on today or no?
I do have Jordans.
Okay. I like those 11s. Yeah, I like those 11s. No, I mean, it's a lot of, it's a lot of things that come into a big game, and playing on the road, 6-hour flight, playing a whiteout game. It's things that you pray and, dream about as a kid. And I know playing in this environment, there's a lot of young guys on this team. Of course, everybody thinks about the Ohio State of Oregon, that game last year when it was at Alton. But, playing in this environment, man, as a whole team, we kind of just knew that we're going to be on the road. There's not going to be many fans for us, of course. Thank you to the fans that traveled for this game, coming out from Oregon. But overall, I feel like everybody had each other's backs. Our brothers are going to be brothers keepers, and I feel like overall on offense and defense, there's a lot of good plays. Penn State's going to make good plays. So overall, we're just blessed to get the win.
Dante, how were you able to bounce back from that big hit that you took there, with a little bit like targeting or whatever it was?
Yeah. There was a lot of hits. So I knew I bounced back when Coach Lanning always looked at me and says, take a deep breath. And the theme of this week, of course, was 1,000 cuts, and he said breathing and taking a deep breath would be a cut towards towards Penn State. So every time I got hit, of course, knowing that when I'm running with the ball in my hand, that I got to get the first down, I got to make a play for the offense. So overall, I got hit, got bruised up, but we have a great training staff, and I'm ready to get more treatment. You said what?
You said you look comfy now.
Oh, I'm very comfy. Can't wait to go home.
Hey, Dante, this is your third year of college. It's only your fifth road start of your career. How much did you just look forward to earning these opportunities, getting a chance to be QB going in a spot like this?
Yeah, I kind of just went back to my freshman year when I played at Utah. My first time playing at Utah, electric environment. I had a lot of mistakes that game. And one thing I was, thinking about is I wasn't confident. I wasn't confident in the game plan just as a player, not knowing everything. Of course, as a true freshman, 17 years old, there's a lot that you got to, handle as a quarterback in that offense. But overall, I feel like this week, man, we practiced so hard as a whole team. Even the defense, they made sure they pushed me this week. The environment playing, you had some practices in the Mo. Make sure you blast the volume super loud to get ready for this environment. So I feel like overall playing on the road can be very difficult, especially when you're far away from home. Travels can be, a little different, but we came out with the win. It's a blessing, man.
How did you keep your composure so well on 3rd and 4th down when you guys go for it, both on the ground, in the air, when you have to scramble, whatever, but 25 combined plays on 3rd and 4th down, 5 to 7 on 4th is pretty hard.
Yeah, everybody knows Coach Lanning, man, as when it's 4th and 1, we're going for it. That's something as a quarterback that you love, knowing that your coach trusts you, trusts in the offense that's on the field. And I feel like, man, there was a lot of 3rd and shorts, a lot of 4th and shorts, and playing this environment when it's super loud and a lot of things going on, we kind of just went back to our base rules, our blocking on the perimeter, blocking up front, if it's a pass play, going through my read. So there's a lot of plays I know I missed. I wish I can get back, but come out with the win and making sure that we got, big-time conversion was huge for us.
That was a Dante Moore, a comfortable Dante Moore, ready to go home. He had the neck pillow, the headphones, and he was comfortable for most of the game in the pocket because the offensive line protected him incredibly well. 0 sacks on Oregon's quarterback. And I also just got to say, we got to start playing more football on grass because Dante Moore in this game looked immaculate, not just with his skill on the football field and throwing the ball, but also in the white uniforms, tremendous uniforms with the mummy theme throughout the course of the week, but on the true grass field when he was running, when he was sliding, and every time he got up, you saw the dirt and the muck and the grit and the grime all over his uniform. Toughness. Every single play was personified on him, every single play. Throughout the course of the entire game. It seemed like the more hits he got, the more he was able to stand back there in the pocket and stare down the opponent and say, you should fear me because I don't fear you. It was a good game for Dante Moore and a big win for Oregon football, but it was sealed on the defensive side of the ball. Man of the hour, Dillon Thieneman, coming up when we return after this on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Monday after a stellar Saturday and a good weekend as a whole to be a Duck fan across the board. It was a big win for Oregon over Penn State, 30-24 in double overtime. The first overtime game that Dan Lanning has coached as head coach of the Oregon Ducks, and it was a game in which Oregon was dominating. It looked like early in the fourth quarter, Oregon was going to walk away with a win. Penn State had an answer. They had a resilient counterpunch. Then they scored first in the overtime. Oregon answered. Ducks answer again. Oregon takes a 6-point lead. They can't get the 2-point conversion. Penn State, they have a chance. They can go down. They score a touchdown, 2-point conversion. They could win the game. They could salvage it. They could take victory from the hands of defeat. But on the first play, Drew Aller drops back to pass. Dillon Thieneman's right there with the interception, and Oregon wins the game 30-24 on the road in Happy Valley. It was a big play for Dillon Thieneman, a different look than Oregon gave Drew Aller all night long, and Dillon Thieneman, he was right there. He had the football in hand. He was prepared for the moment. He met up with Dusty Hara after his game-sealing double overtime interception.
Down here with the man of the evening, Dillon Thieneman, coming up with the big pick in that second overtime. Dillon, take us through that play, what you saw, and how it all finished for you.
So they were giving us some pretty similar looks with loading 4 in the boundary and doing either like a toss or like a toss, then going the score route, or like a tight end on the wheel. So as a spot dropper, I kind of just pushed through the zone. Was carrying the wheel for a little bit. I turned around, the ball was right there.
What was the feeling like after the play ends? You get the interception, you make a return, then you go down. What was that feeling like for you?
It was unreal. It didn't feel real. Like I wasn't really thinking. It was just reaction. And then like I'm still processing it. Like it still doesn't feel real.
Your teammates, they mobbed you, as they will when you come up with the game-winning interception. What is it like to be in this Oregon family? You came from Purdue, and it was coming here you were welcomed into the family pretty quickly. It kind of felt like it at the end of that game, especially.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that. All the guys are super welcoming when I got here, and then just to do this and to celebrate with them just means everything to me.
The environment here, it's different. It's loud, 111,000 people that were here. What was it like for you guys on the defensive side where you could hear a pin drop at times defensively?
It was nice. We were able to communicate a little bit between each other, but then some of those tense situations, crowd got up again. We couldn't really hear each other. But we've been preparing throughout the week for both situations, so I think we're ready to go in that area.
At Northwestern, you and I had a conversation, and I said, these linebackers are getting all the interceptions. What about you guys in the back end? And you come up with the biggest one. How does it feel to finally get notch the first one of the season?
Oh, it feels great. It was awesome.
Makes the long trip a little bit easier. Congratulations, Dillon. Get a big win at Penn State, and now you head into the bye week.
Yes, sir. I can't wait.
You make a big play like that, you'll get to talk to the media more than once. He spoke with Dusty Hara after the game. Then he went to meet with the general media afterwards. A big night, big play for Dillon Thieneman. Here's him with the general media postgame.
You had expectations of what it'd be like to play at Oregon. Does this kind of live up to those expectations you had in Trenton here?
Yes, it definitely lives up. Playing these big games, playing at night, playing a whiteout. I mean, I think it's just a dream come true.
What did you see on that last play, and then just, I guess, what was going through your head, after it was all over?
Yeah, that last play I was just pushing through the zone. I saw the tight end on the wheel, so I was carrying the tight end a little bit, and I was going to drop him to the safety that was over above. And then I just got my eyes back to the QB, and then the ball was right there. So I was like, oh, I got to get that. So I just picked it off, and it didn't feel real in the moment. And then I kind of just got up and started running. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then everyone was running the field, so it was a very cool moment.
Just walk us through what's going on mentally with the defense. You guys were just dominating in the quarters. All of a sudden, they made Hopkins score 3 straight touchdowns for winning in overtime.
Yeah.
What were you guys' line?
Yeah, so we started off hot. We're doing good, and then they started to get a little bit of momentum. And then, talking just from my point of view, I had a couple key mistakes on both their scoring drives that ended up leading to scores. And I think those just a few mistakes here and there. I made some mistakes. I know some other guys here and there. And then it just piled up, led to the score. But we just stayed composed, and we were able to get through it.
Dan was telling us that on the final play, that was you guys did something different between going out and nickel against 12, which I guess you had done all game. That coverage-wise, we want to answer some sweep round, also on the round. Well, how much of an adjustment was that? Well, just like, how big an adjustment was that from what we were doing all game long? And you find yourself in a position that you're strong.
It wasn't too big of an adjustment because we've been practicing it all week, ready for it. And then throughout the game, we were like alerting for that specific play because they were doing hints about like what they could get to it, and especially in the red zone, that was like a tendency. And so we'd see that on film, and then Bryce was blitzing, and then I was just filling the zone, and the ball was right there.
Hey, Dillon, you was talking about death by 1,000 cuts. What did that mean to you guys? Was that basically how it went tonight?
Yeah, that's definitely how it went. It was just stacking the little things. One play here, either like holding them under 3 yards in the run, stopping the run, having a positive plan on offense, special teams, like just stacking those plays, stacking those cuts, and it was just like we're going to take them down. No one was going to do it on one play, or it wasn't going to happen in one moment, so we just got to keep stacking those.
After Penn State's touchdown to end the game and then their first touchdown going into overtime, how did the defense really keep their composure, especially in an environment like that?
Well, we trusted our offense. We trusted Dante. We trusted everyone on that side of the ball to go out there and do what they do. And we just got to stay composed. We had learned from our mistakes that we made in that fourth quarter that ended up leading to both those scores. And then we just had to go out there and execute.
Dillon Thieneman, after the game, made a big-time play for Oregon to secure a victory, but he wasn't the only guy on that defensive side of the ball. Oregon's defense was stout all night long. The Ducks almost doubled up Penn State in terms of yardage. We're hearing from more the defensive standouts of the game when we return. After this, it's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Monday after the 30-24 double overtime victory for Oregon football against Penn State. And the Ducks really limited a dual threat rushing attack for Penn State. Katron Allen, Nick Singleton didn't have much going on the ground. In fact, Katron Allen, he had a decent day, 12 for 54 and a touchdown. But Nick Singleton, 11 rushes for 21 yards. Average under 2 yards a rush. Big reason for that is Bryce Boettcher was all around the field. 12 total tackles. He seems to be everywhere over the last few weeks. Bryce Boettcher is getting his nose in on plays, stuffing the run. He was a big key to Oregon and limiting the Penn State rushing attack this week. Bryce Boettcher met with the general media after the win.
Man, I've been saying it from the beginning. You know, it's all about culture. We've built an excellent culture here at Oregon. You know, a lot of the new guys and guys that transferred in are just a part of building that. And, you know, we're relentless. Most physical football team always wins, and it starts in practice. You know, we wear pads Monday through Thursday. Some guys think it's ridiculous, but it shows up when it needs to.
Bryce, all the talk for the last month from us is just like, we don't know how good Oregon is because they have to play it. What did you learn about it? What did you learn about yourself? Did you learn anything new, or is this what you guys expected?
No, I mean, I didn't really learn anything new. I mean, I feel like we expected that. I mean, everyone kind of had the question of once we get tested, how are we going to respond? Are we going to, you know, fold, or are we going to punch back? And I think that overtime, that fourth quarter, obviously they ran the ball on us and put it in the end zone, but able to, you know, get another stop and, you know, put it in the end zone from the offense, man, it was one of the best games I've ever played in. It was awesome.
How special is Dante Moore? Just as a teammate, as a player, as a leader of this team, how special is he?
Dude breeds excellence, man. He's just very composed, too. I mean, he's, 20 years old, and the maturity out of him is incredible. You know, following up after Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix, that's no, easy shoes to fill, and he's, obviously his own person, leads in his own way, and I love it. He's a competitor, and I'm glad to have him on our side.
Bryce, before you guys took the field in that second overtime, Tosh and Dan grabbed you and Nixon and pretty intense coaching session before you guys went out on the field.
Yeah.
What was the message there, and then what are those moments like? There is such intensity in game on the line.
Yeah, in that moment we were just talking scheme, of what they were going to do and what play call we were going to be in. And then at the end of it, it's reset button. What are you going to do now? And we got the message across to the defense. We did a great job, I feel like, all game, bringing it together on the sideline and, keeping that energy throughout the game on the defensive side of the ball. So, what a game.
Bryce, there's a lot of freshmen on this team that are asked to contribute. Look at the running backs. You've got a lot of DBs, true freshmen playing in front of 100,000 people probably for the first time in their careers.
Yeah.
How are they so composed that they were able to come in here and contribute right away?
It's impressive, man. I mean, this is an environment, I've played at Autzen, and, this one was definitely close to that. I'll still give Autzen the cake. That was no joke. So, to see him compose in a big game like that is incredible. And, credit to Penn State for putting up a good fight.
Bryce Boettcher all over the field throughout the course of the game. Double-digit tackles again with 12 for Bryce Boettcher. He was stopping the run. Tatum Tuioti did a good job stopping the run. A few option plays that he blew up, but he also got home to the quarterback. Tatum Tuioti had a sack in this game, a tackle for loss. He had 5 tackles, 4 of them solo. Tatum Tuioti made an impact. Had a few times where he hurried Drew Aller as well. He caught up with Dusty Hara after Oregon's win.
We go from one defensive lineman to the edge, and this was a battle of wills throughout the course of the night. Take us through the preparation that led up to this game, because you guys looked like you were dialed in from the opening snap.
Man, we knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. Like Coach Lanning say, it's 1,000 cuts, man. Like, we knew that this is a great team, and we knew that we was going to come here and compete.
You got dinged up in this one, but you bounced right back and you came back in. There was nothing that was going to hold you out of this game, was there?
Nothing, man. Like, I go down, but I know I got to do it for my team. Like, it's so much bigger than just me. I got to do it for everyone, my family, my team, and that's why I got to go back in.
As you guys, I asked Tion about this and his vantage point of Dillon Thieneman's interception to seal the game. What was your vantage point? What was going through your mind leading up to that snap? And then once you finally saw you guys had the ball?
Man. It was a great play by my man. Like, Dillon's a dog, and he just made a great play there. And it started with our offense scoring right away. Gave us a little bit of momentum, and then we took it and went with it.
The fourth quarter, they started catching a rhythm offensively. What settled you guys back in as that fourth quarter wore on and into overtime?
Yeah, on the sideline, we knew this was a big game, and we just got to take a deep breath. We got to reset, and we got to know it's just one play focus, one play at a time, and we'll be all right.
What does it mean to you to be here, go through all of this work with all of these guys that have been on this defense for several years, and to come into a hostile environment and get a win like this?
Man, it's such a blessing. Like, the opportunity we have to come here and play a great team, Penn State, and just do it with my brothers, it's just so special.
It looks like everything that you guys do defensively, you guys have the ultimate faith in your offense that they're going to come through for you guys. What is it, that kind of feeling defensively when you know that 5 is back there guiding this offense?
Yeah, Dante is a great quarterback, and our offense is so explosive, and we got so much trust in our offense. So we just got to get the ball back to them on defense and give them opportunities to score.
So time to rest up, heal up, because you got a work week ahead of you, not a bye week, Coach Lanning always says. But congratulations on a win tonight at Penn State.
Appreciate you.
Tatum Tuioti.
That was Tatum Tuioti after an impactful performance defensively. It felt like this was a complete team win for the Ducks, and no position group embodies that more than the running back grouping. We're hearing from one of the many in Oregon's stable of backs when we return after this on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, second Saturday, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon, a 30-24 victory in double overtime over Penn State. Oregon dominated through the air with Dante Moore, also outrushed Penn State on the ground. And Oregon showcased a few different running backs in this game. The freshman, De'Ara Hill, 10 attempts for 82 yards. He was explosive. Jordan Davison, 4 attempts, 17 yards, and another touchdown. He is third in the Big Ten in touchdown rushes, by the way. He's got 7 through 4 games this year. He has been everywhere on the field, or through 5 games this year. He has been everywhere. In the end zone specifically has been where he's at. Dante Moore rushed for 35 yards. Noah Whittington, 7 for 25. And Jayden Limar, 7 rushes, 17 yards. Also caught 3 passes for 20 yards. He has been a bruiser, not only with the football in his hands, but also as a blocker. He was on the coach's show last week. We got to talk to him after Oregon's win. Jayden Limar, after the victory against Penn State.
Down here with Jayden Limar, where 7 carries, 17 really hard yards. This was a game that it was won in the trenches. Your offensive line, they blocked their butts off today. What did you see from those guys?
I mean, they gave us everything they had. It was a good football team on the other side, a good front, and we was getting moving. That's all you could ask for. It was a hard-fought battle.
Now, grinding out drives like that and putting drives together, something that you guys were striking so quick early in the year, and then last week you guys had some long and extended drives. Did that help you out, kind of getting used to that rhythm of not having 3 and 4 play drives and in the end zone?
It definitely showed, I think, that our team can do that. We were kind of getting used to, obviously. We were moving the ball very good the first few weeks, but we knew we were going to have a battle coming up, and I'm glad that we did, honestly. We learned a lot from battles like that and showed what we could do.
What have you learned about your offense tonight?
Resilient. Like, I don't care what you throw at us. We're going to battle. We're going to scrap. We're going to get back in the fight.
What was your reaction when Dillon Thieneman comes up with that interception? Take me through your feelings and your vantage point.
I expected that. We were all on the sideline. We said, watch, he's going to give it to us right here. Just made more sense that it happened to Dillon. Dillon's the hardest worker I've seen, honestly. Like, he's out there every day doing extra. So happy for him in that moment.
Coach Lanning often says, like, big games like this is why guys come to Oregon. What was this environment like for you from pregame all the way through the end of it and coming out with the victory?
It was good. I honestly loved it. I love when everyone's against you, honestly. Like, when you're traveling, all you got is your brothers, and that's what I love about it.
Jayden Limar, big win this week, and now you got a work week ahead of you. Congratulations.
Yes, appreciate you.
Oregon wins 30-24 in double overtime against Penn State and now heads into a bye week, a work week for the Ducks before a 12:30 kick next Saturday on October 11th against Indiana at Autzen Stadium, which should be another top 10 matchup. A whole host of other Oregon athletics programs were in action over the course of the weekend. Cross country got things going. Both the men and the women were in action at different cross country meets throughout the course of the weekend. Oregon tennis, Vlad Brazo advanced at the ITA All-American Championships for Oregon men's tennis. Also, Oregon had a tie for the individual title at the Tyndall in Washington as Oscar Lent shared a three-way tie for the title for the individual title for Oregon men's golf in the Tyndall. Also, Oregon volleyball was in action as they were on the road throughout the course of the week. Dropped both of their matches on the road, but it was a 5-set thriller against Northwestern where Oregon saw extra points in sets 3 and 4 to push it to a set 5. Also, Oregon soccer in action picked up a point yesterday against Indiana, a 3-3 draw for the Ducks in which the offense was out in full force. Whole host of Ducks were in action. We'll continue to break it down throughout the week on Duck Insider. Good win. Go Ducks, everybody.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the